How do I break this down? How do I say this? Straight to the punch. So, Andy from Toy Story has a dad. Now, you may or may not be shocked about this because you may or may not have already heard, but I just found out today on Twitter. I opened up my Twitter feed and all of a sudden, boom, it's right there. Andy had a dad. It's a very long, in-depth story. So, I'm not gonna go all into it. I don't tell the news. I don't present the news or anything. I'm just expressing my reaction to it. And it's just crazy. I seen it and it's a very long, drawn out, very detailed story. But long story short, Andy from Toy Story has a dad, and apparently the clues have kind of always been there, but it's one of those things to where they've always been there, but if you're just casually watching the movie, you're never gonna really notice it. That's why we've never really noticed it. But yeah, there's like little clues here and there, small in the movie, like you had to like literally study the movie, not just watch it, you know, which we all did, just watched it to kind of find out or break it down. You wouldn't have to just watch. You literally have to sit there and study the movie, like literally study it. But anyway, so he had a dad, and I'm not gonna get on to the story. Like I said, it's a very long, drawn out, very detailed story, and there's a lot to it, which I'm not gonna get into. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying that, wow, it's crazy because when you watch the movies, when I watch the movies, I never thought like, oh, you know, well, hey, where's Andy's dad? Does he have a dad? I just watched Toy Story for what it was, and it was a movie about talking toys, or toys that are alive, that come alive. I never thought too far into it. It's a movie, right? It's a movie, and that's exactly how I took it. I didn't think like, where is Andy's dad? Because I mean, if you're gonna think that much into it, you could say, well, what about Andy's mom? Where are her parents? Where are the grandparents? They never show the grandparents, you know. So I never thought that far into it. I just watched it for what it was, which was a movie that we all love. But now I come to find out, I open up Twitter and I find out that Andy had a dad. It's really crazy because once you find out that he has a dad, that's one thing, that he had a dad. The gist of it, the very long story short, because it's a very long story, but the very long story short is Andy had a dad. The only thing I will say is the reason why we didn't see him in the movies, any movies, is because according to the story, well, according to the story that I guess doesn't exist in the movie, is Andy's dad passed away before the movies were made. This is a little bit weird to talk about because it's almost like I find myself talking about it like it's it's like you talk about it like it's a real thing, but it's not a real thing. It's a movie. So, you know, saying that his dad passed away before the movies were made kind of puts it into perspective of like Andy's a real person and his dad passed away before the movies. But anyways, that's why you don't see him, because the way it was written was that his dad passed away before he was not before the camera turned on for Toy Story. Okay, it's basically what I'm saying. Before any of the movies were made, that his dad passed away. But there's an entire backstory that the writers from Pixar wrote about and for Andy's dad, like an entire kind of life story on Andy's dad, which then kind of raises the question. Like, me and my brother, we were finding out about this. We were finding out about this together, and my brother actually says, well, you know what, it's such a long drawn out thing, you might as well just make a movie about it. So it hasn't been talked about yet. I don't know, but possibly, I wouldn't be surprised, possibly Disney may come out with Andy's dad, the Toy Story, the story behind Andy's. I don't know what that movie would be called, because it's so detailed. It's not even just like, oh, hey, guess what, Andy had a dad. It's not like that. I mean, that's the most simple thing and most simple way to put it is Andy had a dad. The thing is, the Pixar writers went so detailed with this. They went so into detail that it kind of makes you wonder, why did they go into so much detail about it? If they're not going to show him on screen, if they're not going to animate him into the movie, if they're not going to put him in the movie, why make like this literally like a life story on Andy's dad?